What is up? We are back with another edition of POTE. I'm your host, Anthony Ladon. We've got a lot to cover, so we're just going to jump right into it. I think. Maybe I don't have much to cover, actually. It feels like I did. Like I was setting it up for there to be a lot to cover. And then, you know what? But I'm gonna make stuff up. That's how this goes. No, we actually do have a lot to cover today. A lot of news happening, which is great for content generation. Because then it takes all the work off of me. Like I don't have to think of anything. It's just all out there in the news and in the real world. And you are very demanding fans. I have received so many comments from my mom just saying, do more of this. And I didn't. I took a week off because I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which it's a nice town. I had a great time there. I was actually doing the World Series of Comedy competition. I think it's the largest traveling comedy festival. That makes it sound like it's, a bunch of carnies in a old horse-drawn carriage or something going from town to town, which it actually is. They just pull up in front of a comedy club, not even inside. They just pull up in front of the comedy club, and they're like, there's a guy that just starts barking and says, "Hey, step right up, see some freaks." And it's great. I was actually one of the freaks. So thank you to them for having me as part of that competition in Minneapolis last week. It was actually a great show. Well, there were several shows. The one I was on was great. And then the other one I was on was also great. So the way that this thing is set up is it goes for most of the year. There's, I think 12 different satellite competitions that are effectively qualifying events for the actual World Series of Comedy, which is in Las Vegas in September. So hopefully I will be a part of that. And hopefully I will. But the competition went well in Minneapolis. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was great to be in a club outside of New York. Just because, being in a city sometimes is pretty insular and you forget that there are other people out there that have maybe different views than your own. Because it can kind of get to be an echo chamber here in New York, but it was so great to be in front of a different crowd in Minneapolis. I think there were 3 people there in the audience, and they all laughed at other people's jokes. One of them, I think, laughed at mine, a few of mine, which was nice. It was a welcome change, actually, to have people show up and enjoy my shows. I placed second place in the round 2 of the Minneapolis competition. So basically there's a wild card round with like 16 folks. There's round 2 with 9 people. And then there's the semifinals with 6 and then the finals with 3. And at each point along the way, the amount of time that we do per set increases. So I was seeded directly into round 2 because I think everybody had dropped out. And then, and due to attrition, I was seated in round 2, which is great. I wish more people would quit. Maybe I could have made it all the way to the finals. But I did all right. I think I placed second place in round 2 to a fellow named Trevor Gertensen, who's very funny. I think he was a Minneapolis native at one point, and now he's Chicago. Lives in Chicago. And so I placed second place there. So I advanced to the semifinals. Or semifinals, depending on your predilection there for long E or not long E sound, whatever the other one is called. And I did okay there. I didn't advance to the finals. I was not in the top 3. I'm going to assume I was number 4 out of 6. But I could have been 5th or 6th. But, for the sake of this podcast, we can edit out me thinking I was 4th. Let's just go with that. We'll cut right to that point in post. Yeah, I took 4th place or 6th or 5th. And it was great. It was nice. It was good to see other people do comedy, just different. It was fun. There were a few more people at that show. There were 4. And, they all laughed at everybody else's jokes. And one guy laughed at mine too. So he was actually my brother-in-law, but so he had to, unwillingly, but he still did. So he's quite a trooper. Let's see. Yeah, so competition was good. Thanks for everybody who came out and supported. And people who watched online. There were people who live streamed the event. I didn't even tell anybody about it. And my dad, like the total jerk that he is, found the live stream link and watched it. And I think he was actually the reason I ended up with a $10 commission or donation, because you can actually do that. Hint, hint to listeners out there everywhere. You can actually watch the live stream of the show, and you can donate to your favorite comedian, because Daddy's got to pay the bills somehow. Also, Daddy should stop calling himself Daddy. I think I've done that once before, and it's very uncomfortable. I don't have kids. There's no reason I should use the term Daddy, anything, referring to myself. So I'll make a note for my producers to remind me to never say that again. But he watched the live stream. I ended up with a $10 donation, so I can pay him back the big debt I owe. And so thanks out there, viewers. Oh, and so the reason I say that is not just, I don't mean to guilt you, listeners and viewers out there, for not having watched the Minneapolis one. I say that because I'm going to Boston today, and I'm in a show tonight at 10 p.m. This is the 16th, so hopefully I get this thing out ASAP. You can, again, watch on the live stream. And if I advance, or rather when I advance, I will also be on a show Saturday night. What is today? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today's the 16th, 17th, 18th. Okay. Anthony has to do math very early in the morning. Even though I've been up for a long time, but it's still, we're just going to use that defense. So yeah, heading to Boston, competing against a different group of people. I was also seeded in round 2 for this one, which I'm very excited about, because again, it means that everybody else dropped out, and we were left with little old me and 8 other people. So we'll see if a few more drop out. That'd be great. It'll just be me competing against myself, and I hope I advance then too. But you never know. You never know. So yeah, comedy's going well. Back in New York now. I don't know. This is just the update section apparently. I could probably also do some plugs for what I'm going to do next. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, you can do so. Well, even if you are following me, you can continue following me. I don't like when people do that whole preface thing of like, if you don't know about this one weird thing I'm about to explain to you, let me explain it to you. And because it doesn't matter if you already know or don't know, just explain it. And certainly don't start rambling about how you don't like when people say, if you don't know, let me tell you. But anyway, that's the update. Where was I going with that? I went off on that dumb tangent and then forgot to come back to. Oh yeah, if you aren't following me, excuse me, I was getting a little ahead of myself there. If you're not following me on Instagram, or if you are, you can continue to do so. I'm at Anthony Ledon. It's 2 N's, Ledonne. I'm sending out a newsletter tomorrow, and you can sign up for that at my website, on my website, in my website, at anthonyledon.com. They're funny. I send them out maybe a couple of times a year, but I want to get one out tomorrow or Saturday. It depends on how the show goes tonight. But you can sign up there, and it's, they're just little updates, kind of proof of life, basically. Let you know I'm still here, and try to make it worth people's while. So hope to see you there. Oh, I send out recipes occasionally, just because I love to cook. I did post a new one on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, I posted a new video on YouTube. It's how to roast a duck in the oven. Duck is one of my favorite fowls. Fowls? Is it singular? One of my favorite fowl? Oh God, these are things. This is when having a producer in studio would help, just to be able to correct me and say, that's way off, or you nailed it. More so for the latter. I want somebody to remind me, hey buddy, you nailed it. But yeah, it was how to roast a duck in the oven, it was surprisingly easy. In fact, it was no recipe. It was just, you just dry age it in the fridge for a week or 2. I'm not even kidding. 10 days is what I did. And I did it 3 times to perfect the recipe. And it ranged from, I think, a week to 2 weeks. And 10 to 14 days is pretty good. Excuse me. And then you coat it with a little bit of honey and then some salt and pepper and just roast it in the oven. And it's amazing. So I produced, what am I, a trust fund film financier now? Jesus, Anthony. I made a video and posted it on YouTube about how to roast the duck. And I think it came out great. It's a little more cinematic in nature, less how-to-y. So give it a shot. It was actually, have you seen the show Servant on Apple TV Plus or Apple TV? I don't know if there's a plus. I don't know. Everything has like a plus now. Nobody has a minus. I want to see, something like Netflix minus, for the people who are dirt broke out there, who are, using other people's passwords like me. And I just want to see a Netflix minus. It's got like half of the show. It's like, look, we know you're too cheap to use your own password or to pay for anything. So we'll give you half the show. You know what? You need it. Netflix minus. I think that's a good idea. It's Disney Plus, Disney minus. It's just Mick. No Mickey. He doesn't. It's like actually like an Irish mouse or something, just called Old Mick. I think that'd be great, dude. He's got like a dysfunctional. He's like a heavy drinker, has a dysfunctional relationship with Min, old Min. Anyway, that took a dark turn, but maybe these people and these characters have lives that we don't know about. And I think they're worth it. Their stories are worth sharing too. But yeah, Netflix minus, Disney Plus. So anyway, the show Servant. It's on Apple TV Plus. Is it just regular Apple TV? I don't know. But it's interesting. I would recommend watching it for the cinematography, for the food. It's pretty cool. And that's the reason I bring that up, because that's what inspired me to shoot my how to roast a duck in the oven video. Because the cinematography is pretty cool. They have some pretty cool angles. They show it's not just like head on. Here's how this character is cooking the food, but and they took the food seriously. Like it was real food that they were cooking. And the guy, the actor, actually trained with a chef, and they had a chef from Philly because they shot in Philly. They didn't just bring a chef from Philly to where they shot in, the UK or something. We got to fly in a chef. Philly's got the best, obviously. No, they shot it in Philadelphia, and where everybody just says Philly or Phyla, I'm sure. Just they don't even like make it fun like Philly. It's just Phyla. It's just the first 5 letters of the name Philadelphia is what everybody says there. No, but they had a chef from Philly on set, I think, helping the guy out, and it shows. Like the food, it looks great. It was shot great. Anyway, long story long, that's what inspired me to shoot this how to roast a duck video, which I actually think is pretty cool. Now I'm getting hungry. Now I think I should roast another duck. What do you think? Well, not today because I'm heading to Boston, but soon after. All right, let's get some notes here. What do we got going on? Boop. All right, so we'll do that, and then okay, I'm getting everything set up here. Oh, this is cool. I can do split screen on my iPad, so now I've got my stopwatch going to make sure I don't go over time here. And I've also got notes, which shows the stuff I need to focus on. Okay. What do we got going on here? So that's the update. Doing comedy. Hope to see you in Boston. If not, hope to see you on the live stream. Again, tonight, Thursday, June 16th, the show is. And, hopefully I get this thing out now. Hopefully I get it out now. I've started saying gosh. I'm not even like a religious guy. But for some reason, I switched recently to gosh, and I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. Because really, in that moment, when you just need a word to convey golly or God. Oh man, shucks. And you can choose any. Like there's a lot of options out there, but there's a certain set of 4-letter words that everybody kind of agrees, or most people kind of agree, is like worse than others, right? But I don't know. I remember in like 6th grade, people were saying like, they started saying bad words, and the teacher was saying, look, if you need to say a bad word, just say something close, like, oh, puka shells, which was stupid because it's so long. Or like, oh, darn. I don't even know if she suggested darn or if that was too much. But I remember being in 6th grade, and I thought that was stupid. I thought, just let us say all the bad words we really want to say. It doesn't really matter. And then for most of my life, so far, I've used many of those 4-letter words, which I'm only not saying here just because I kind of like to keep this podcast clean-ish. I like to make sure anybody can listen to it, so it doesn't have the little E explicit thing. because, I don't know you. I don't know I don't know you. And with people I generally just meet, I'm not dropping F-bombs like right then and there. So that's the only reason why. I feel like I need to defend myself. I'm not like this Puritan who, I bet they cussed. I bet there was a couple of times, maybe coming over on the Mayflower or early on in those colonies where just life sucked, and I'd love to know if those people cussed every once in a while. It had to, right? I mean, I know you might get stoned for it, but still, like, because their life wasn't easy. What did they complain about? It's like, oh, we didn't get a shipment of food. I guess we have to wait a year. Or maybe even longer, because then they'd have to send another boat back, like a little letter saying, hey, where's our food? And then another boat comes back, 9 months later, whoops, we forgot it. And then they have to write back, can you escalate to a manager? And then, they write back, and this is all taken 9. So really, that's why those people starved in that one colony. But anyway, I've started saying gosh recently. I usually say God, but for some, I don't know what switch. I feel like, I don't have a problem with any of the words, but like God is the only one, like, all right, I can see that bothering some of you people. It doesn't bother me at all. But I feel like it's almost unnecessarily provocative. I know it's not that bad. All right. Let's put this in perspective, but I don't know. I just maybe this is what getting older is like. You start relaxing a little bit around some of those things. I don't know. I'll let you know when I find out why I've started to do it. But gosh, I feel like golly though, that's too many syllables. Because when I want to say gosh or God, when I want to say that, golly, that's a mouthful. Although I could see you emphasizing the lee, like golly, that's a whole nother, that's not bad. That's kind of fun. Then you're conveying a little bit more information. It's not just, oh God, it's, golly. It's a little more quaint, a little simpler. All right. Maybe I'll give that a test drive up in Boston. Or as all the locals call it, Beantown. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say hello Beantown. That's going to be my opening line tonight, and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. All right, what do we have going on here? So much to talk about and so little time. Happy the elephant will not be released from the Bronx Zoo. So here's what I'm going to do with this. I'm not even going to read the article because on this podcast, we don't have time to do that. We only have time to talk about the headlines and the big issues. All right. And this big issue is Happy the elephant will not be released from the Bronx Zoo. I'm actually kind of curious, like, is he up for parole? And the board denied his request. Like, how does that work? How does an elephant get to be eligible for release from a zoo? Does he have a good life? Did he ask to be let go? Or are they going to fire him? Like, Happy will not be released from the Bronx Zoo. Is it like a contract that he's in, and he's like, well, I'm a free agent now. And he's got to, see what kind of offers are out there. Maybe that's a good thing for him. And maybe I feel bad. He won't be let out of his contract. So now he's got to do his little song and dance every day, for the rest of his life. But yeah, I'm curious who petitioned for his release. Again, we're not going to read the article for another few minutes because we have to make snap judgments here. This is an advice podcast. This is a news podcast, not an entertaining one. I wanted that to be a joke, but I worry that it might be true. But yeah, the snap judgments. Happy the elephant. What do we think? I think good. Keep that guy employed. It's a tough market out there. Companies were going on a hiring spree for a little while. Now, everybody's doing a little freeze. Maybe it's good. Keep that elephant employed because life's hard out there. I mean, what's an elephant on the streets going to do? Working for nuts. Just, hey, show me your trunk, and you're like, woo. It's hard. to be an elephant. It's hard to be an elephant in the first place, let alone on the streets. So this is good. Keep him employed. Keep him happy. He gets 3 square meals a day. Just, are they all peanuts? Do elephants eat anything else other than peanuts? I don't think so. But that's like, what if you were an elephant with a peanut allergy? Is that a thing? I don't know. It's just, it's tough out there. But anyway, so that's the elephant. Let's take a look at the actual article and see what the deal is. Oh my God, this went to the court. I said God there. See? So I'm still in. I'm still, edgy. Still rough around the edges. God. It went to a court of appeals. Oh, okay. I should have read this before jumping in. Oh, it's a she. Happy's a she. Okay, I didn't know that. That doesn't change anything. I don't think. I mean, I don't know, I don't think Happy would be offended if I thought it was a he. I haven't seen Happy. It's not like I went under the carriage and was like, oh, no, definitely he or a she. I don't even know what a she would look like there. I don't know. Think about it. But yeah, it went to the courts. New York's top court on Tuesday rejected an effort to free Happy the elephant from the Bronx Zoo, ruling that she does not meet the definition of, quote, person who is being illegally confined. Okay, first of all, where's the article? Like as a grammatical, as a syntax, like a part of a sentence, does not meet the definition of person. Don't you need an A? Does not meet the definition of a person. It sounds like it was translated from Russian. Does not meet definition of person. No. All right. So that was okay. If that's your whole case, is saying Happy the elephant is a person, dude. Like, I know there's that whole thing about somebody claiming a bee is a fish or a fish is a bee just to get it more rights and whatnot. But this is, why would you base your entire defense? I'm not a lawyer or a law person. I abide by it most of the time. But no wonder. In 5-2, who were the two that said, no, yeah, Happy meets the definition of, quote, person? Chief Judge Janet DeFiore, Paisan, said that, quote, while no one disputes that elephants are intelligent beings deserving of proper care and compassion, end quote, a writ of habeas corpus is intended to protect the liberty of human beings. It does not apply to a non-human animal like Happy. Thank you, Judge DeFiore, Paisan, for injecting some common sense into the court. Is there no legal precedent that you could have used to say to free this elephant? I mean, I don't love zoos. First of all, I haven't been to one in a long time. And in general, I don't like the idea of these animals being confined, but it's still like, dude, if that's your art, why just say it's bad for some other reason? How did you even get past, how did you get this to be a trial? No, what's a writ of habeas corpus is intended. How did you even get this to the judge in the first place? How did it get that far? Who thought, hey, should we try to free this elephant? Yeah. What's our defense? Let's just say it's a person being confined illegally. Oh yeah, good idea. Yeah, they'll buy that. Dude, there's a difference between a human and an animal. I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a difference somewhere. And we should figure it out. I think that might be part of, I think that's what DeFiore was trying to, there's a line, all right? It may be thin, and it may be a certain color that will provoke certain people or won't provoke others, but it's a thin gray line between what an elephant and a human is. It's a huge line, dude. It's all right. That was your thing? That was your thing. Hey, it's a human. Okay. We're going to move on. This one's just unsatisfactory. God, is there anything else here? The case has been closely watched by animal rights activists and industries that depend on animals. Yeah. The zoo and its supporters warned that a win for advocates at the Non-Human Rights Project, there are people who do that? Okay. Could open the door to more legal actions on behalf of animals, including pets and other species in zoos. Yeah. The advocates at the Non-Human Rights Project argue that Happy is an autonomous, cognitively complex elephant worthy of the right reserved in law for a person. No, sorry. I think it's reserved in law for an elephant. And maybe we should have special elephant laws. Elephant courts. They'd be huge. They're always in circus tents. And they, instead of a gavel, it's a starter pistol. That'd be fun. I'd watch that. That would be, that'd be fun C-SPAN to watch. Although that's more legislation and not trials. But it's still, you get the idea. I think it'd be fun. I'm down for it. The Bronx Zoo argued Happy is neither illegally imprisoned nor a person, but a well-cared-for elephant, quote, respected as the magnificent creature she is, end quote. Now, I think that's sending a very body-positive message. She's big, but she's beautiful, and she is cognitively complex. And you have to throw that in there when you're talking about the female of any species. You have to say they're smart first. You can't say they're pretty. I've learned that. You can say pretty second or beautiful. Those work, but you have to do smart first. But for men, you can say whatever you want. And I'll take anything. Please. Post it in the comments somewhere. Tag me. I want to find it because I need it. I feel like I'm going to cry here. Okay, yeah. So should Happy be free? What do you think? Does Happy meet the minimum qualifications of a human? Does it not? Do you agree with Judge Di Fiore, Paisan? Or are you part of the minority opinion? There's nothing wrong with that. These are the hard-hitting questions. Forget about everything else. There's nothing else going on in the world that deserves your attention right now. Forget about the Ukraine or Ukraine. There's an article for you. Forget about the January 6th committee hearings. Forget about all that stuff. What we're trying to suss out is, should Happy be happy? Okay? How many times does she have to hear the joke, hey, don't worry, be happy? If I were a zookeeper, if I were a disgruntled zookeeper shoveling elephant poop, I would mumble that every time I got in there. Hey, Happy, don't worry, be happy. That's just the kind of guy that I am. So anyway, what do you think? Let me know. Find a comment. Find a place to comment and post it somewhere. I got to start doing this on Instagram. Oh, man. I haven't yet. I should. So it's on YouTube, though. So that's, you can see it there. Or Spotify. And anywhere you can get podcasts, which But find some place to comment, and I'll maybe check it out. Okay. We have a visitor in the studio. My Pomeranian puppy is wandering around, wondering why the heck I'm mumbling to myself. She doesn't meet the minimum qualifications of a human. I'll tell you that much. You know what? And on a bad day, I don't know if I would either. You get me when I'm hungover, lack of sleep, put me on that stand. Judge, as you can see, he had trouble getting up there. He does not meet the minimum qualifications of a human and does not deserve all the, privileges that come with it. That's just it. All right. Okay, so here's the next headline. You ready? Get ready, everyone. Are you ready, Bailey? She's ready. Netflix is planning a Squid Game reality show with a record $4.56 million cash prize. It's about time. The world is suffering from overpopulation already. Why not throw a couple hundred of them in a confined space and have them duke it out? And if they win, they live. If they lose, thanks for playing. I don't know if you've seen Squid Game. If you haven't, it is a show on Netflix that follows a guy and a group of people who are in a reality game show, kind of. Yeah, it's a reality game show, I guess, where they have to fight for their life. And I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a great show. In my opinion, it was compelling. I just didn't like seeing all the bodies pile up every single episode. The main actor in it is fantastic. I don't know his name, but he emoted, and he was very good. I couldn't understand a word they said because it's in Korean, which is Greek to me. But he was funny. He would say something in Korean, and I'd be like, I think he's scared. And then he would, another scene, he'd say another thing in Korean, and then I'd go like, oh, I think he's really scared. That looks better. I had basically, I don't know why I said that, but it was very stormy out a few minutes ago, and now it's clearing up, and the light has changed. And since I'm too lazy to put on any sort of lighting for this video podcast, I have to then adjust the ISO of my camera to make sure, or is it ISO? I think it's ISO. I should know that. That's one of those things, I should know. But I had to adjust it to make sure that it wasn't, blown out and too bright, because I shine bright. Not unlike a diamond. Okay, so Netflix, Squid Game game show. Okay, is it just going to be like inspired by, or are they actually going to kill? I don't think they're going to kill people. That'd be pretty bad. I don't think you could do that. Although they did it in the show. So I don't know. But yeah, what do we think? I'm gonna say, how is this going to be any different than like American Ninja Warrior and those other shows where people complete tasks? I guess it's just the type of task that they complete. But what if the stakes aren't there? Is it really Squid Game? Because like that's what makes Squid Game scary, is like if you don't win, you die. Like that's as big of stakes as you can get. But I don't know. Instead, these guys are just going to get a thanks for playing, and then they're just not executed. Come on, that's part of the the joy of watching Squid Game, is the who's going to die next. So that's at least my big question is, are they going to get some diversity in there? Because the last, the TV show Squid Game was it was like 400 Koreans competing. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it'd be nice to see somebody else in there, I don't know. Maybe pick a different color of somebody else, Just not me. I don't want to be in there. That's my big question, though. Are we going to finally see some different people get the same terrible treatment that Squid Game is? Yeah, what could go wrong? $4.56 million, though, is a pretty big purse for a competition. And, there are a lot of people out there who would do anything for a lot of money. I would do almost anything for a little money. So I don't know. And I'm actually excited to see this. I want to see what happens. All right, let's move on. That was a short one because we don't have time on this podcast to deal with everything in depth. We have a limited amount of time. This is busy. I'm on the couch. I've kicked my wife out off the couch, and that's where I have to do this now. I've been demoted. I had a desk, and now I'm on the couch. So maybe next week I'll be doing this from the doghouse. That's something you never hear anymore. Did that go out of favor? People always joke like, oh, I'm in the doghouse. I think it is out of favor. I think husbands stopped messing up. I think that's what happened. Like no husband ever screws up anymore. Now they're like, doghouse, what's that? Oh, is that something from like the 40s, Well, I'm in the doghouse. Is that how people in the 40s talked? I don't know. Did they have different accents like that? Oh, golly, I'm in the doghouse again. Is that how they talked? I don't know. I don't know what people from the 40s talk like. Do people who were alive in the 40s talk like that now, or did they change? All right. That's going way off the rails. But yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I haven't screwed up in ages, but so that's what I'm doing. I'm on we have no time to waste on any off the rails topics, any sidebars, any tangents. My viewers and my listeners are demanding. They have people to see, places to go, jobs to work and listen to this podcast while they're working. They're probably machinists or high-powered attorneys with nothing more important on their plate right now than to listen to this podcast. And I appreciate you, every last one of you who is a cross-country truck driver, with me in your ears, full volume, and I'm here with you and I'm here for you. But I know that we can't waste time saying those things because again, you've got a job to do. All right. And I'm here to bring you the news. Here's another headline because, we're dying for content here at Pote Studios on the Pote podcast. And if you can't hear, my puppy is panting in the background. She's sitting, actually looking at me quite judgmentally, but she's just sitting here watching me panting because it's getting quite warm in the studio on the couch. I had to turn off the air conditioner because they're noisy and they're large and they blow air right in my face, and you can hear it on the microphone, and it's no good. And that's what we're all about here at Pote is high quality content. You have to be able to hear it. You have to be able to hear my voice crystally clear. God, I don't know. We need another producer. We need someone to fact check my speech. Okay? And we don't have that. We can't afford that because you know what? We're on a shoestring budget. We just started doing ads because we found that nobody subscribed because I didn't offer subscription. So we're doing ads now, and we gotta keep these people happy. People need to be able to hear things crystal clear. God, shoestring budget. Like I said, no producers, nobody here to help me. It's just me and my dog, and increasingly frustrated wife who would like to be able to use the rest of her home, but can't because I need to talk to you, and that's what's important here is you, dear listener. Okay, that needed to be said. Did it? Does anything really that needed to be said? That for sure needed to be said. Okay, next headline. Here it is. You ready for it? That American flag bikini of yours is illegal, but you probably won't get arrested for wearing it. First of all, how do they know I had an American flag bikini? It's like they wrote it just for me. Second of all, where do we draw the line? Okay, if it's illegal to wear an American flag bikini, are we? I think we should start arresting these people. Depending on the body that's wearing it, I think that might factor into it. I think we should arrest anybody who's too small such that you can't see the entire American flag on the bikini. Because then it's just like a part of the American flag, like a tiny, skimpy little, like if you're only able to see one star like on each nip, then it's not, too small. We need to know that it's the American flag. We can't just have little tatters of the American flag covering your tiny little body. All right. But if you are large enough that like the bathing suit, let's go with the bathing suit. No, actually let's go with the bikini. If you're large enough that we can see the entire flag on that bikini, I think that's the only time it's fair. Anything else is just an insult to that bikini. Okay? To the American flag, excuse me. And here at Pote, we're all about body positive images and inclusivity. And to be inclusive, I weigh just a little bit more than the average American woman. I think the average American woman is a deuce and a half. No, I'm 175. And I think the average American woman is 165, as if I read that correctly the other day. And, and then that I do it out of solidarity. Okay. I could choose to gain more weight and be closer to the average American man, but I don't want to do that. Not until we have equal pay. If women are only earning 80% of a man's salary or whatever it is, I want out of solidarity to weigh 80% of what the average American man weighs. That's just how I roll. I'm doing this for you. But yeah, back to the bikini thing. I didn't realize that there were that many patriots out there that cared so much about the American flag and this country, this great country, that they would wear an American flag bikini. Second of all, how do we know that it's an American flag on that bikini? Like, it could just be a Texan flag, right? Because they're red, white, and blue with like one star, right? It's like the Lone Star. This is the state of Texas for those of you listeners out there who didn't know that Texas is a state, which could actually be a lot of you. Some of you may have thought it was a country. Texas likes to separate themselves a little bit, set themselves apart from the pack, and they may be a country to some of you, but I just want to remind you, it is a state, a very large state, and an important one. And don't mess with Texas, because you'll get the horns. That's what they say, right? I think so. But yeah, who's going around checking out these bikinis wearing flags? American flag bikinis. I guess you could see it from the backside. That'd be an easy way to tell, because that's maybe the largest part where you could see a flag. The front, I mean, this just gets weird. Who's checking it out? Who's going around saying, sorry, ma'am, I'm going to have to give you a citation, which is a fancy word for a ticket. I've never had one, but especially not for wearing an American flag bikini, because I have enough respect for this great nation that I would not put an American flag on my body. Although I do have stars and stripe underwear. Does it matter if no one can see it? I don't know. If I just admit it, what's the statute of limitations for that? Like, am I at risk now of getting a citation for my American flag underwear? I think I have a couple. Like, I have some that are red, white, and blue, some that are just stars, which I actually wore those for Flag Day. I wear Saxx is the brand, SAXX, which I like because they have, I think it's called ballpark technology, and which holds everything. Did I already talk about this? I feel like I may have. This is another reason I need a producer, but I'm not going to do it because we're going to pass along all of our savings to you, our listeners. We don't have time for a producer to come in here and explain to me, while we're on air. Yeah, ballpark technology. Yes, you have talked about that before. But anyway, it keeps things separated so that there's no chafing, no rubbing. I had to explain what chafing was because you have such busy lives that maybe you didn't hear me when I said chafing, and then I wanted to use a simpler word just to help clear things up. While you're digging that grave, as a grave digger, not like as a criminal. Although I welcome everyone to listen to this podcast, but that's a lonely job. Listening, being a grave digger. I mean, your company is not very responsive, but that's just how it goes. That's the life you chose, to be a gravedigger. And maybe you do it for the alone time, because you're probably getting a lot of it, and you're digging, and every once in a while you wonder, like, well, would I fit in there? And, maybe sometimes you go down there and just kind of lay down to see what it's like. And I think I missed my calling is what's coming out of this. But that's boy, now I'm kind of thinking about switching jobs. Sometimes it can be lonely being a comedian, when no one comes to your shows. I've been lucky to have only full houses every time, packed, with 2 or 3 people there, and a couple more who are related to me. But it's nice. Okay, so where were we going? American flag bikini. That's... who I think the people who are actually writing tickets are probably the same guys who are like, I'm with the FBI, female body inspector. Remember when that used to be a joke? I think when I was a kid, they had magazines full of dumb stuff that you could buy. It was like the the dumb kids version of Hammaker Schlemmer, or Sky Mall, or Brookstone, or whatever. And instead of like inflatable pillows and foot baths that also play music, it would be dumb stuff like an FBI hat, and then it would say female body inspector, because that joke never gets old when you're a kid. It's I think I ordered, I know they probably don't have magazines, they probably don't do that stuff anymore. It's probably all online now. I should find that. Again, we should have a producer here to like pull it up and then say, Anthony, we just found it. You can show all of your millions of fans and viewers and listeners and spiritual advisors, and you can show them what we found for you. And it would be that website, Hammaker Schlemmer, and they have the FBI female body inspector hat, which would be pretty cool. I think I bought like an anarchy hat. Remember those A's with the circle? I never did like spray paint stuff, but I remember drawing that anarchy sign This is so cool. I'm a rebel. Oh God, I'm so glad I grew up. Did I though? I'm still making like dumb jokes. That's fun. Okay. But yeah, I think that's the kind of guy that's like walking around. That'd be the kind of person walking around citing people wearing American flag bikinis. He's got his FBI hat on. I'm a female body inspector. I've inspected this body, and I've ruled that is against the law. That's what all those people sound like. But good on you for supporting America with your body. It's a very positive thing to do. Okay, we're running out of time here because I got to get going to Boston. I still have to export this thing, upload it, do all sorts of munging and audio analysis. So we're just going to cut it here. It's going to be a little bit short, but I got places to go, people to see, much like you guys who are all very successful at the top of your game, rated at or above everyone else that you work with, because this is a podcast for achievers. And you've probably achieved so much that you're bored in your job. You've coded your way out of your job, and now you're just killing time listening to podcasts, which is actually what I did at one point. So that's how I know. I'm an achiever, you're an achiever, and we're achieving things together. And right now we've achieved the end of this podcast. So I want to thank you so much for listening. Follow me at Anthony Ladon on Instagram, or this podcast at POAT_pod. That's on Instagram, POAT_pod, which I haven't posted anything there yet, but today might be the first one. Anyway, give me a follow, and we'll see you next week, which I think I'm going to mean next week this time, and not just not every 2 weeks. All right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you. Actually, I do really appreciate you listening and watching this thing, because it's a lonely world out there sometimes. And right now it is, because I'm all alone and my dog is huffing still. But it's nice to connect with you. So send me an email, or at podcast@gmail.com, or give us a nice review, a nice 5-star review. And maybe one day we'll get a producer to make this thing real and to make it good, or gooder, because that's what we're all about here at Poat Pod. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Love you all dearly, I think. Yeah, especially you. Okay, later guys. Bye.